cycle. Artificial intelligence is one of interdisciplinary branches of computer science. This technology, as we already know, deals with making computer systems smarter, that is, making computer systems capable of executing some tasks that usually need humans. Contrary to popular understanding, artificial intelligence is not a recent development. It has been developed over periods spanning decades before it was commercialized. AI project cycle. Usually, regular in regular IT projects, the projects will end with deployment phase, and any post development change will turn into a separate project. An initial distinction in the AI system is that they learn, which means an AI project does not stop at deployment phase. Rather, at this phase, the AI project system becomes cyclic. Artificial intelligence systems can improve themselves over time, but it does not mean that they do not need corrections or updates as new informations come in. This unique functioning means that AI project cycle planning is different from the start in different areas like budgeting and planning. This scenario, ABC Bakery has pastry shops across the city in shopping malls, college, marketplaces, etc. They make 10 types of pastries and distribute them in the shop every day. 30 pastries of each type are delivered to each coffee shop. Whatever is left at the end of the day at the coffee shop is discarded as a new batch of pastries are delivered each morning. It was observed that some varieties of pastries were preferred at some outlets and others were not. For instance, chocolate pastries were hated in the coffee shops located around. Schools and colleges' regular free varieties were picked more at coffee shop in the shopping malls. Since the bakery was distributing exactly 30 pastries of each variety to every coffee shop, it was noted that the sugar-free pastries were getting wasted every day. The outlets were losing orders for chocolate pastries after the first 4 hours of operations. Likewise was the situation in other outlets for demand and supply of different varieties of pastry. The bakery owner thought that by reducing the supply of non-preferred pastry at sufficient quantity instead of surplus, he could reduce the wastage every day. Also, by supplying the preferred type of pastry to outlets, he could increase the overall sales of pastries at the outlets. Problem scoping. Keeping the given scenario in mind, let us fill the 4W's problem canvas to get a clear picture of the goal. Who canvas? Who is having the problem? Who are the stakeholder? ABC Baker and coffee shop. What do we know about them? They wish to increase the profits. They want to cut down on wastage. What is problem? Surplus pastries of non-preferred type are being delivered to coffee shops. Demand specific supply is not being received. The opportunity of the opportunity cost of not being able to supply certain pastry type was reducing the sales potential of the outlet. Where does the problem arise? What is the situation in which stakeholders experience this problem? Coffee shop across the city. Why? Why do you think it is a problem worth solving? What would be of key value to stakeholders? If the shops have proper estimate of the quantity and types of pastries to be prepared every day, the wastage can be reduced. How would it improve their situation? Less number of pastries would be unconsumed. Losses due to unconsumed pastries would decrease considerably. Next, we must fill up template given below. The company owner, oh, we can read it by ourselves. The problem statement template leads us towards to the goal of our project, which can now be stated as to be able to predict the quantity of pastries and types of pastries to be delivered in individual shops based on their specific requirements in order to make more profit. Data acquisition. Now, since the goal of project is set, let us look at all the data features that affect the problem in one way or another. As we know, we need testing and training for an AI based project. So let us try to analyze the kind of data that is to be acquired to work towards our goal. In our project situation, the factors affecting our types of pastry, number of type of each pastry, ingredients of a pastry, total number of customer, price of pastry, sell 10 of particular pastry at specific region, preferred outlets for certain type of pastry, the quantity of demand granted for each type of pastry at each outlet, the quantum of wastage for each type of pastry at each outlet. After analyzing these factors influencing our situation, we should move on to acquire goal specific data. We need to create a data set for a specific period, say for 2 weeks or 15 days, over covering all the aspects mentioned below. Data exploration. After creating and compiling the database, we need to analyze the data and draw meaningful conclusions from it. Since the goal of our project is to be able to predict the quantities of pastries to be prepared and number of each types of pastries to be at the specific shops for the next day, we need to have the following data: types of pastry, number of the types of pastries required per day, number of that type of pastries left unconsumed. Modeling. Next, we train our model on the dataset collected. In our pastry situation, a regression of model is chosen. The regression is type of the supervised learning model which takes in continuous value of data within a span of time. Since in our case the data which we have is a continuous data of 15 days, we can use the regression model so that it predicts the next values to it in similar manner. In case